Transport, seventh domestic policy issue. I've already done a video about the railway, which I want to renationalise as a single organisation, getting it running really well with the fares low so that people will actually use it, electrifying it so that it can be run on renewable electricity supplies. As regards road transport, I don't believe in this business that we shouldn't tarmac over southern England. Well, of course, well, we shouldn't, but making our road system work better it doesn't require so much covering of countryside, and we do need a functioning road system. We shouldn't do it by private finance initiatives, either to build them or to operate and maintain them. I don't want to see road pricing either by an overhead gantry that you pass or by a satellite receiver in your car charging you £1.34p per mile, which was batted around as a price for some major roads at Russia a few years ago, but they've cooled off about that now because they realise it's very unpopular. I don't think we should have tolls like the French do. I think it should be a bit more like the Germans, who have autobahns which are toll-free. I mean, it's true that if we don't charge for using the roads, well, I mean, we do. We pay for our road fund licence, but I can see that foreign drivers, including foreign lorry drivers, use our roads, and that does cost us a bit. But I think it's an important thing to be able to get around your country and not feel a that the government is watching where you are with a satellite tracking thing, or b that it's well, I just don't like the idea of having to have pay per mile by some means like that. I think it's our country and we should be able to get around it, and I think it's good for it's a public good that we should have an adequately maintained, adequately developed road system which is free to use at the point of use. We need better roads in some respects. There are lots of bottlenecks. It must be a delivery driver's nightmare because they're under terrific pressure to make all their drop-offs, and being held up, or being a lorry driver with limited hours on your tachometer and being in a traffic jam. Well, it must be very stressful. So let's get the roads running properly. As regards rural transport, they do seem to need more buses. I don't know quite how the economics of that can work, but it does seem to be a human need. A lot of people cut off if they haven't got cars. If they get old and it's uneconomical to keep the car, it's difficult for them to get around. I'm not quite sure what we do about that, but it's a problem that needs addressing. Ports, I mean, lots of our ports are in private ownership now already, but we do have trust ports which are owned, well, until recently they weren't owned by anybody. They were just something held in trust for the nation. They are Dover, Poole, Milford Haven, Shoreham, Tyne, Harwich and Harwich. And the government is thinking about whether to sell these off on the commercial market, but I don't think they should. I mean, particularly the one that I've worked on is Dover. I went down and collected quite a large petition in the street in the snow in Dover early in 2010. Very easy. People were very keen not to have the port sold off. The government wants to get its hands on the money that they would get by the sale of it, but I don't want it owned by the French or the Chinese. I don't want to. It's not xenophobia exactly, but it's our infrastructure and we shouldn't sell it, in my view. And I think there's a lot of people who agree with that. But the trouble is the pressure is that the Dover Harbour Board wants to develop it, quite rightly, I think. He wants to put ro-ro berths in the western docks. Most of the traffic goes through the eastern docks at the moment, and the government hasn't got enough money to fund that. I think we need to get the economy working again, and then we'll have the money to develop the port. And I think it's folly to sell it to an investor who then would put the money in and get it running, because it'd be very profitable. It is profitable at the moment. So let's not sell Dover Harbour. And it'd be great if you could write to your MP and ask him to express that, because they are rethinking it. Theresa Villiers, the MP for Barnet, is the Minister for Ports, and if you know anybody in Barnet, try and catch her ear. We should have an eye to getting a good transport system without damaging the economy, and in my view that means that more should go by train, because trains can be run on electricity, which can be generated in clever ways that don't destroy the environment, either by thorium, by other renewable sources, including tidal, which I'd like to see developed. Air transport, do we need a third runway at Heathrow? I don't know, but I want to mug up on the pros and cons of all that. I welcome the breath of fresh air that Ryanair has been, and Michael O'Leary. I'm sure he's not an angel, but he seems to have got some sense into the system and made fares a lot cheaper. But it is damaging to the environment. I don't think we should have so many foreign holidays in far-flung places. I do use budget airlines a bit, but I don't think we should. I think we should be conscious when going to long-haul journeys that it has an economic, an ecological impact. But look, we need to get around to do our work, to go to scientific conferences, which do good, and to make business deals and so on, and so we need an air transport system which works. I'd be grateful for opinions and education about that. Thanks very much.